lot of mountain bikers have Whistler as a future vacation destination on their bucket list, so I thought I'd share my own experiences in riding the world-famous resort area. And by riding in Whistler, you'll be treated to 10 of my top 100 trails anywhere, as well as dozens of other fabulous trails. I've ridden dozens of the most famous mountain biking regions, including my favorites in Moab, Sedona, and the St. George and Hurricane region of southwest Utah. But I think that Whistler has the most trail-dense region of fabulous trails in the world. But unfortunately, Whistler has a fairly short riding season. So the first decision to make is when to visit. The Whistler Downhill Park and the Upper Alpine trails don't open until late spring or summer, so it's best to visit in the July through September timeframe. You can see the weather outlook for the region from the temperature and precipitation profiles I show you here. And if you're planning to ride in the high Alpine, the Lord of the Squirrels Trail for example, you can see that they are at over 1,700 meters or 5,600 feet. And the top of the World Trail in the Whistler Downhill Park is at 2,200 meters or about 6,900 feet. So you can't usually ride these trails until August. Overall, there are 3 general choices for places to ride in Whistler. In the Resort Downhill Park, along the Whistler Valley Trail system, or the trails that access the Upper Alpine regions. The Valley Trail system is the easiest and most accessible system of trails. The Lost Lake Trail system is probably the most popular valley trails and can be ridden starting as early as the March timeframe. I won't get into the details here, but if you're interested, I provide a hot link in the upper right corner of your screen to the related video of trails for this region. However, I would expect that most new visitors to Whistler will initially concentrate on riding the world-famous downhill park, so I thought I'd begin my review there. But I'll also cover the other amazing trails located outside the downhill park and which don't cost you anything to ride. The Whistler Downhill Park is so massive that it's very difficult to know where to start or how to navigate the mountain, so this ride plan will definitely help you out. For my recommendations in the downhill park, overall, I will start my review first off with the blue and intermediate trails, then progress to the black and then the double black trails. If you follow this ride plan, you'll pretty much cover the entire mountain within 2 days of riding. I typically do about 6 to 8 laps per day if the park isn't too busy, and if I don't linger too long over lunch. After the bike park trails recommendations, I'll then turn my review to the other fabulous trails that are outside the downhill park. When you ride the downhill park, it's best to start your day early or to ride on weekdays since the park can get very busy during the midday hours and on the weekends. And with day tickets to the park costing in the $80 range Canadian or more, it's best not to waste your time in lift lines. Probably best to start off your day with the blue level trails in Whistler, even if you consider yourself to be an expert level rider, and especially for those in your group who may be new to the Whistler Trail ranking system. The Fitzsimmons and Creekside zones are located on the lower mountain and so are the first regions to open up as the season begins. Once the snow melts on the upper mountain, the Garbanzo zone will open up next, likely in the June timeframe, and then the Peak zone opens last, usually by mid-July. So let's start our first lap in the park by riding the Fitzsimmons zone and ride down a sequence of blue trails including Ninja Cougar, Karate Monkey, Samurai Pizza Cat, Ho Chi Minh, and Lower Easy Does It. We'll do a second blue intermediate lap down the Funshine Raleigh Drops, Smoke and Mirrors, Bluesium, Wednesday Night Delight, Devil's Club, and Heart of Darkness. There are a number of ramps at the bottom of the Wednesday Night Delight Trail that you can sesh to practice progressively harder ramps. We will then ramp it up for the third lap down the Burmese jump lines on upper and lower Crank It Up. Our fourth lap will involve a sequence of black level trails, including the Black Diamond, Original Sin, and Intermediate Flow Trail down Lower Blue Velvet. As an option on this lap, you could also ride the intermediate level Flow Trail down Una Moss.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Our fifth lap will again get progressively harder, and we'll ride the Black Diamond sequence down Freight Train and No Joke with an optional segment on the very steep Double Black drop-in Clinic. Lower down, we will ride the Angry Pirate sequence back down to the bottom of the Fitzsimmons Zone.
Nice.
On our sixth lap, we'll ride down the famous A-line trail, which is an expert level jump line. Beware that the jumps are bigger and faster than those down Crank It Up. Unless you do big jump lines a lot, you might want to slow roll this on your first time. For lap 7, we'll now begin riding the double Black Diamond trails, starting with Schlayer and Detroit Rock City. These are two of my favorite technical trails in Whistler, but you need to be very comfortable with breaking down very steep lines. On lap 8, we will ride the Upper Joe Wright and Clown Shoes trails. lap 9, we'll ride the Whistler downhill run, the Canadian Open course, and Lower Joyride. And lastly, for the downhill part, there are some very interesting short technical sequences down Afternoon Delight, Pulp Fiction, and Drop-In Clinic.
Drop-in clinic.
And we'll finish with jump lines down the Dirt Merchant and Fade to Black trails. I have to admit that I don't ride the jump lines in the downhill part very often, so my jumping skills are somewhat limited, but here's what I'm able to ride. If you happen to be in Whistler in August or September and the peak chair is open, then you should make the effort to ride the top of the World Trail that descends over 700 meters down from the peak chair to about halfway down the Garbanzo Zone. And so, now for the excellent trails outside the downhill part. My favorites are on Duncan's, which has some very interesting ladder bridges and steep, slabby sections. The descent segment on Comfortably Numb, which also has numerous steep slabs.
Oh, beautiful. Look at this. Oh, I love that. Oh, look at that spot.
The meandering, punchy, connected trails on the Out There and Happiest Days trails. And the massive, nearly 900-meter descent down the Lord of the Squirrels. And while the Lord of the Squirrels Trail is ranked as intermediate, it does involve a massive climb to access the Alpine region around Mount Sproat. and it's also very janky and technical, so just be warned for your intermediate riders. And additionally, if you're interested in watching the feature-length versions of these videos, or are looking for refreshments for a coffee shop or a pub after your ride, I've developed a cool tool to help you. Just go to my website at ronsworld.ca and click on the Top 100 List tab, and then click on the map at the MTB Trails tab and scroll down to the window that shows you the map. Then expand the window so that you can see the layer panel on the left. Now let's zoom into the Whistler region, and you can see the blue icons for each of the individual feature-length ride video for trails around Whistler. The layer panel on the left will give you the ability to add the campground, cafe, and pub layers. Let's look for nearby campgrounds at Nairn Falls and Calcheek. Whistler is so expensive these days that you might want to look into camping and or home cooking. Now let's zoom back in and add the cafe layer and the pub layer. We can now see some recommended locations near the Creekside community. And we can move over to the Whistler Village and see a few more. Now let's go search for the feature-length videos to the Lord of the Squirrels Trail. You can click on the bicycle icon and now watch the feature-length video. If you want, you can also expand this video to the full screen and watch on the YouTube platform. I hope you'll find this very helpful to plan your next mountain biking vacation. And lastly, if you're from out of province and making a big commitment to visit Whistler, I'd highly recommend that you also investigate the excellent technical trails in North Vancouver and the outstanding Burmy and Slabby trails in Squamish. For further information to ride these two other regions, please refer back to my Ron's World video map for more ideas about where to ride. Well, that's all for now, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.